What is going on? It is the Plansy Podcast coming at you on a Friday afternoon. We've got a stream coming up later, and we just wanted to bust out, well, not we, but me. I've been sitting on a podcast for a little while. I've been sitting on 5 pages of notes, and, you know, I just wanted to, felt some energy today. I was like, you know what? Bust it out. I'm ready. So today we're going to talk about the NBA return, sort of what that looks like, maybe some light predictions sprinkled in there, my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm excited to be even doing an NBA podcast because I really didn't think that they would be coming back. But you know what? Again, I'm excited to be doing it. Check us out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Sub, like, follow, review, comment. You know, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell us what's up. Tell us why you hate us. Tell us why you love us. You know, all our old pods are on there. We have a great one about the movie Parasite. That one actually got a lot of traction in South Korea. So, you know what? Shout out South Korea. Shout out all our listeners. We've got a decent Irish listening base. So, what's up, Ireland? I am like, I think a quarter Irish, maybe a third or a half Irish. I have no idea. But you know what? That's my people right there. We also have an episode just talking to a local artist, Julian Alexander, just sort of how he, you know, deals with growing up and sort of a city that is sort of, you know, not sort of, but, you know, pushing out black people and people of color by means of gentrification. But that's its own podcast itself. I am doing well. Been hanging out with my rabbit. My rabbit actually recently figured out how to get out back, and so the dog actually chased him in. Like, the dog herded him. He's not a herding dog or anything, but, you know, you'd think, my dog is a hound, so you'd think naturally he would go for the neck, but, you know, he herded him back in. Yeah, so that's what's going on in my life. We are ready to jump in. I hope y'all are all ready. Here we go. All right, y'all. I am sure if you're listening to this podcast, you are also very, very, very excited that basketball is back. I'm fucking ecstatic. You know, it's like, what, 3 months now? March, right? And I think March 12th was the last night. Probably should have had that written down, but oh well. Right. So let's catch up. It's been 3 months. So let's push in and sort of set up what this looks like first. Okay. So basketball is back, right? The NBA is forming what it calls a bubble in Disney World, Florida, Orlando, fun place. They're putting the teams up in 3 hotels, no families, but they are allowed to have like barbers and like certain DJs. I didn't feel the need to like read into that, other than just to sort of look at the headline, because I was like, oh, okay, this is just a rabbit hole that I'll fall down and then just start talking about stupid shit. Anyway, so I did read this funny story about how these hotels are having to order like extra long mattresses just because, you know, they're NBA players. These are tall motherfuckers. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. So July 30th is the start date, and the finals will end no later than October 13th. Total of 22 teams will play the season. In the Eastern Conference, that's the Bucks, the Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, 76ers, Nets, Magic, and Wizards. In the West, it's the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, Rockets, Mavs, Grizzlies, Blazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, and Suns. And the the 8 remaining games, so they're going to play 8 sort of, let's call them regular season games, and then after those 8 games, they're going to decide, or well, top 8 teams, or I guess top 9 teams are sort of move on to the next phase, which would be the knockout. But I'll get to that. So where is it? We already said that it's ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex at Walt Disney World near Orlando. No fans. The first round starts the 17th of August. That's the playoffs, and that's when they're down to the 8 final teams. Or 8 final teams in each conference. Conference semis on August 31st. Conference finals September 15th. Finals September 30th. Okay, so what are teams doing in the meantime? It varies by most team, and again, this is you can find this on the NBA's website. They have a very informative FAQ. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna read what they have and then sort of go off of like what I'm doing. Okay, so what the NBA says is what are most teams doing in the meantime? It varies team by team, but most of the 22 teams will play 72 or 73 games after the 8 seeding games. So that's the final number of the regular season games, and those 8 games are added to the record. So, for instance, Dallas will have played the most games, and the Spurs and Lakers will have played the least. So, why did they choose these teams? So, these teams were essentially the teams that could still make it within those 8 games to a knockout round. They believe that these are the teams that could do it. You know, after the Wizards, it's just like dog shit. I think it's Charlotte after that. Yeah. I'm honestly a little surprised the Suns made it. If who knows if they can make it up, because they have to win a lot of games to catch the Memphis Grizzlies. But again, that's not for right now. So is playoff seeding regular? Yes and no. Top 7 teams after the play-in games are in the playoffs automatically, bar none. Awesome, cool. So right now that would be that'd be the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, Sixers, Nets, and Nets. So stop at the Nets because they're the 7th seed. And for here, it would be the Dallas Mavericks. So what does that mean for the 8th seed, right? Or the other teams? Well, the other teams, if they don't make it to that 9th seed, they're eliminated. And for the 8 and 9 seeds, where if there's 4 games between the two, or if there's 4 games or more, I can't read my own notes. If there's 4 games or more, then the 2 do not play, and the 8th seed is just the 8th seed and locked in, right? Okay. But if that is close enough, then they will have a best of 2 series where the 9th seed will have to win 2 head-to-head matchups to overtake the 8th seed. Okay, so automatically 1 and 7 after the I'm saying in quotes regular season, they're in. And 8 and 9 have to duke it out unless there's a bunch of space between the 2. Cool. So now that I've exposed all of you to the info, let's think. If the NBA successfully has a conclusion to the season, honestly, hats off to them, because the future is it's so fucked right now. And just the fact that they were able to really just unify and just understand what they have to do, understand what the players wanted. And I don't know, I think they've done a great job in terms of finding sort of a perfect middle ground at this point. First of all, I think this goes without saying, but the NBA has to, they have to make sure that the integrity of the bubble is kept, because, if you have like James Harden calling in strippers and, he gets COVID from that, it's fucked. it's really fucked because then it's just like, great, now one of our biggest stars has it on one of our best teams, and now what do we do? So I think the NBA really will probably get pretty like Stalinistic, if you will. Not in terms of, physical punishment, but just I do think that it is so important that they keep that, especially since Florida has seen a rise of cases due to incompetence and negligence, which, that's a whole other thing to talk about and worry about. That's a whole other podcast even. So, moving on, I think making predictions is stupid, just because there are so many variables at this point. And, any predictions that, like, I could have had 3 months ago, I really don't remember. I think I said Giannis for MVP. Well, I'm still on that, still on that hill. And I can't remember who I said would win the championship. That's how long it's been. But you know what? For hot take sakes, I like that. Hot take sakes. I should have like made sure to emphasize that or something. Oh well. I'm going to list the teams I think will make the playoffs. And it's so stupid to try and make these predictions, but this is going to be post 8th versus 9th seed. So this is, the final 16 teams in the bracket. So I don't even think, like, I think in the West, I think everyone above the Thunder are safe. I probably should have looked at that. But I said, like, this is in order. I honestly just kind of kept them the same order because I think continuity is going to be what's important now, and these teams sort of had the most continuity. Lakers 1, Clippers 2, Nuggets 3, Jazz 4, Thunder 5, Rockets 6, Mavericks 7, Blazers at the 8. Don't be mad I took the Blazers. It's a shot in the dark. Like, come on. And, that's the West. Relatively easy until you get to that A seed, and then just like a lot of good teams in that range. And there's always a couple teams that don't make it, and they're still just, if they were in the East, they'd be like a 5 seed. That's just the state of the conferences. Hashtag fucking silver, realign the whatevers, the conferences. I don't know. I'm all over the place. That's fine. Honestly, I do think, though, that the sort of grinding of this final part and the importance of these games coming up, it's going to lead to playoff atmosphere. I think that sort of playoff atmosphere without the fans is going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool. You're going to be able to hear a bunch of stuff on the. You know what I wish they did? I wish they had sort of 2 broadcasts of this. Had one on ESPN and one on HBO. And the one on HBO completely unedited. Just because I think that would be so cool to hear players curse each other out, and to think that, like, oh man, we're gonna hear LeBron call somebody a bitch or something like that. Yeah. So for the East, my prediction is Milwaukee Bucks get in, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, 76ers, Nets, and Magic. I just, for the East here, it's a lot different. There's way less teams, and really only one team, well, not really only one team will be left out. And I mean, I don't know if the Nets make it. The homer in me, just it hurts to say it, but I do think the Nets will get the axe. Just with the amount of players not reporting due to COVID and other injuries and personal problems, half the fucking team is gone. So that's buns. I don't even believe. Well, I don't want to say I don't believe in Karis LeVert. I just don't think he's necessarily ready yet. And I don't know if I believe in Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, and Jared Allen as sort of the top 3 players. to clear out a spot in the playoffs for them. I don't even want to have this be a thing where like it's me shitting on them. It's just them in an unfortunate situation. If they did have Spencer Dinwiddie, Dinwiddie we don't know. We know he has COVID, but we don't know if he's playing or not. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's just an unfortunate situation. And I sort of want them to not make the playoffs because then they get to keep their first round pick, which that could be a decent depth player, that could be part of a trade package where we get somebody good or whatever. It's another asset to have, and I think that could be a good thing. So who do I think is going to win the championship? I have here the Lakers just because, again, continuity is going to be important in a time like this, and LeBron James versus Anthony Davis, take everything else away, and who's coming at that 1-2 right now? Who's coming at that 1-2? Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Like, that pick and roll is... I don't even know. I don't have words for it. So, it's an easy pick, but, like, yeah, the Lakers. No shit, the Lakers. I don't know. Best players on one of the best teams. Giannis is going to win MVP again, but I think he's not going to lift that trophy. It sucks, but, it just is what it is. And also, everything I say has to be taken with a grain of salt because, again, there's so many variables that we have no idea what the hell is going to happen. We're just... Who knows? Maybe the Miami Heat roll off a ton of games and they get really hot. Who knows? Maybe OKC with Chris Paul, maybe they just turn it up and then all of a sudden OKC has a ring. Although if that did happen, people would have an asterisk over that forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah. Once again, just big credit to Adam Silver and all this. COVID clearly has shown us who is a good leader for a large group of people and who isn't. And Adam really is one. His tone throughout was one of understanding and pragmatism with a clear vision and one that led to the goal of the NBA being able to come back. It's right now it's coming to fruition. I think that's a really good thing, but we'll see what happens. It's a fuck time. Going forward, I think the NBA has certainly set a precedent for solving problems like this. They showed open communication with its players, transparency to the media, and sort of like just fairness overall. Just imagine if negotiations went down like they did with baseball. That would have been terrible. Obviously the context of the conversations, they're different when it's finishing versus starting something in a time like this, but I don't know. I find the NBA, at this point at least, is just so willing to listen to what the players want. And, All right. So, bottom line. The NBA is fucking back. And this college campus bubble idea is seemingly... It's going to go off, barring more setbacks in Florida. Seems pretty fun, too, especially for the younger guys. It's just like, going back to college or some shit like that. Or just a big sleepover with your friends who you also work with and get a dunk on or break their ankles. I'm excited, though. My poor Nets are missing half their players. LeBron will probably be in the finals. But, we'll see. I do hope everyone is staying safe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Give us a follow back. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so many more. All of our podcasts are there. Follow us there. Give us a rating. Tell you why you like us. Tell you why you hate us. On YouTube as well. Same thing with all the podcasts being there. We send them all there. Just aim the crapshoot that way. And on YouTube, we, as well as uploading those podcasts, we also live stream on Wednesdays and Friday. Right now, we've just been playing Super Smash Bros. So that's been really fun. So you know what? If you want to come play some Smash Bros with us, check out our Instagram, because that's where we tell people, you know, when we're streaming in terms of like specific times on Wednesdays and Fridays. And just arena details, shit like that, all that good stuff. Yeah, so, you know, just swing a like or sub or smash that like button, guys. But beyond that, hope everyone is staying safe, staying sane, wear a goddamn mask, and thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.